Welcome back everyone to this second Quick Thoughts video covering 4 uranium-ish stocks. In this video I'm going to be talking about Appia Energy, Global Atomic, Western Uranium and Vanadium, and Westwater Resources. Before we start, just a quick disclosure, I do own stocks mentioned in today's video. So again, how this is going to work is I'm going to quickly, in a few slides, run through each of the names. And just why I group these together is because I think that there's a good chunk of non-uranium value in these companies, and that is probably heavily weighing on their valuation. So that's why I put these 4 together. So to start, Appia. Okay, so I know the story. I know who's running their exploration. I know their resource. I'm aware of all of that. But honestly, if you look through the company entirely, I'm surprised that people aren't more focused on their rare earth element project. That the grades on that project are very, very high. There's like very few mines, very few discoveries in existence of rare earth elements that can come close to matching those grades. And Appia is near surface. That's big. As for the uranium aspect of Appia, well, let's just say I'm less enthusiastic. Now I know their geologist is the guy who discovered Arrow, and I know that he's very good. That being said, uh, the I'm not crazy about exploration for uranium because I just it's not where I like to look for in terms of finding value because you can look, you can have the best company, best geologist in the world and find nothing. It happens. Now I know so far they're 6 for 8 in terms of radioactivity in the holes that they've drilled when they're looking for another big deposit, and easily if they find one, the stock could go significantly higher and in the right environment even higher than that. But I'm just saying, um, I'm not crazy about exploration, but I understand those who are. I don't hate it. I'm just saying. And as for their massive historic resource, the 133 million pounds of resources that they have in Elliott Lakes are under a lake or near a lake called Banana Lake. Now, they are 1.5 kilometers deep at a grade that uranium would need to be $31.54 in order for that grade to be equivalent to 1 gram per ton of gold. So they need much higher uranium, needless to say, and they also need a significant amount of advancement, like a preliminary economic assessment and feasibility. So that potential deposit for Appia is definitely in more ways than one a ways out. Next on global atomic. Okay, well this is an interesting one because it's the grade of their uranium is pretty much higher than most things found outside of the Athabasca Basin. It is in Niger, and they are dealing through Orano, which is probably wise, getting French connection around Orano or in Niger. But that being said, they will have to carry 10% of the government of Niger's interest through the projects. We don't yet know what their feasibility numbers will look like. They had an older feasibility study, and they will have to update it with a scenario where they can ship their ore to the Orano mills that are in the region. That being said, I believe it will be fairly low cost. I believe that their cost will be, in an interview, the CEO said their cost will be under 10, and the shipping cost for Orano and the milling will be, again, under 10. So 20 all-in cost. Could make money in these environments. I don't know if they will do it in this environment, but low cost could be interesting. again, in Niger. But again, if they do their shipping plan to Orano, they won't need to build their own mill. They can, so their capex, their upfront costs will be not too high. Now, the more immediate, and when I say immediate, bear in mind that their zinc operations are offline until around September because they have a zinc smelter and they demolished it in order to expand it. So currently they are building a new larger zinc smelter. So they have no zinc operations at the moment. It is supposed to return in September. And so when I say immediate question, I mean immediately following their return of the smelter in September. The question is the price of zinc. So if the economy continues to do well or gets better, then they could derive a significant amount of value from their zinc operations. If, on the other hand, the economy goes, well, takes a negative turn and the price of zinc follows, the value creation within the zinc aspect of the company will probably struggle. But I think I have done some math and their costs seem to be pretty low when you compare it with mining of zinc. So I I don't they're according to me, they're not in necessarily danger of losing money with the zinc and having to shut down. So I believe they'll be fine. Next, we have Western uranium and vanadium. And I gotta say, there should be a great deal of value in this company. Like based on running the numbers. I mean, they have a built mine. They have a big resource, small market cap, so that looks good. They have a lot more vanadium, if you believe what the CEO has been saying, and I do. I believe that they have a lot more vanadium than their resource indicates. They also seem to have a good management with experience in the uranium cycle. All of the benchmarks or signs of having an undervalued company seem to be there. This company really should be a case study because if you look at when vanadium first crossed $10, which was a point where the CEO sounded excited about the price, well, that was more than a year ago. And they still not only, even though they have an existing mine, haven't gone into production, but they only recently raised money to better expand their resource for the vanadium. So I'm not saying they've been doing nothing in the interim. I'm just saying that this should be something that the utilities for uranium look at and be like, well, once the price was high enough, still it took more than a year before anything close to production out of a built mine, maybe something to look at. And similarly, if you look at where all of the Western's uranium is, it's at the Hanson Complex Taylor Ranch, which is a completely undeveloped mine. It's the grade of that mine is low, and the capex is fairly low also, but the opex is 30 plus. Now, if the price of uranium skyrockets and they turn this thing into a mine, the returns could be pretty great because, like I said before, low market cap and potential. Now, could that going into production in that mine turn this small company into a big real company that makes a big cash flow? Yes. Will this management bring that mine into production? I, I don't think so, but that's mainly because it seems like they were trying to sell the uranium or the vanadium project when the vanadium prices went up. So it's not clear how interested management is in going into production. I know last time the same management did sell out of the vanadium, or sorry, this time of the uranium project at a great time in the cycle and had made a lot of money for the investors in the last cycle. So it could go either way. That being said, if they are able to execute on the plan that it seems like they should be able to execute on, being get some free cash flow from the vanadium production, maybe 232 passes, maybe they use that cash flow to advance and maybe open their bigger project, maybe joint venture it. Well, if they can do that, the stock could do rather amazingly. Lastly, for the day, we have Westwater Resources. Okay, so I believe that they were that they made a bad deal for the royalty acquisition. I believe Laramide underpaid for the projects. That being said, maybe they know something. It's always possible. But when I look at the news feed from Westwater, I I wince. All those raises, such a low market cap, and yet their uranium just doesn't seem like something they're interested in when I look at what they're doing. When you look at a sum of the parts, or trying to have an idea of what this asset plus this asset might be worth, well, Westwater can look very, very, very cheap. They have a tiny market cap and yet a lot of different assets. Yet, if you look at what they've been doing, what they've been saying, and what they're talking about in their presentation and otherwise, uranium seems to be the last thing on their mind. And yet they have a bunch of uranium assets they're looking for. I don't know, was it graphite? It's been a while since I've looked at them, honestly. But it seems to me that in the pursuit of trying to do things, trying to drill out, advance, do certain things, they have completely diluted their shareholders multiple times. And to see what that looks like, you just need to look at a long-term chart, and it's incredible. Now, if the cycle turns tomorrow and Texas becomes a big focus for uranium, and who knows, it may, and then suddenly they start advancing the uranium projects quickly and everything goes well, well then at today's prices they look like one of the cheapest stocks out there. But I can't put money in them. I just look and I can't. That being said, the positive thing I will say about them, well, sort of positive, if you're an investor who only has Robinhood and you're looking for something with the highest upside potential, this is probably your best hope. However, it's, in my view, more of a long shot than it's worth. That's it for today. I hope you found something in this video interesting. I believe I'm almost up to date with all of the uranium requests. I think there's maybe 2 more companies that I kind of wanted to say something about, but haven't yet. So I will hope to get to those. And then there's a few requests for non-uranium companies, which I will be getting to some, but I'm very behind, and I do have other videos that I want to do. So I hope you're enjoying them in the meantime, and I will catch you next time. Have a great day. Hey everyone, just quickly, you can read this here or in the description of any video. Just remember, what I do and say here is meant to be a helpful supplement or thought filter for your research, not a replacement for it. I can be wrong, and I'm often quite early, aka wrong for a good while, which is why none of this is ever investment advice.